Let's talk about something that is so important that I literally invest so much of my own money into, and a question that I get asked a lot from other business owners, and that is how to protect your time. Let's get into it. So I feel like throughout my career as a business professional, entrepreneur, whatever I deem myself as, I feel like a lot of times throughout my journey, I heard about protecting time. And when I was first starting off in my business, I didn't actually know how to do that. A lot of times we hear this advice of like what to do as a business owner or what to do as an entrepreneur, but how to actually implement this in everyday life. And I find a lot of the times that when I wanted to get to the next level of my business, when I want to continue to grow, continue to get better, continue to increase my efficiency, I would get a little bit stuck because I wouldn't know where to begin or where to start. And I would just end up finding myself back in the same position because I didn't have a clear step-by-step plan. So I want to go into one concept today, and maybe I'll make this a series about how to protect your time, how to actually do that. And if you're part of my email list, we talk about this a lot. And if you're not, there'll be a link down below that you can join so that you can stay in contact with me. I send at least one email a week, if not a little bit more, on free tips and free resources for you to be a part of the community. So let's talk about how to actually protect your time and what to do. First step is calculating your hourly rate. And the reason why this is so important is because we know conceptually that there are things that we need to delegate on our schedules, on our to-do list, but we're not really sure maybe what to delegate or how to delegate. So I want to kind of start with the number one step of calculating what your hourly rate is. And you can do this in two different ways. Number one, which is kind of the way that I always do it, is what's your desired outcome that you're looking to make this year? So let's say, for instance, that your desired outcome is $400,000 this year. Okay, let's say that it's $400,000 this year. That's what you want to make. That's what you want to generate in your business. Okay, you're going to take your desired amount of money. Now, again, it can be anything you want. I am choosing to do 400,000, and you're going to divide it by 2,080 hours, which is approximately how many working hours that we have in a year. Now, again, this could change. You could work less, you could work more, but let's just say for argument's sake, we work about 2,080 hours a year. So that means that your new hourly rate is now $193 an hour. Okay, so we took the 400,000, we divided by the amount of hours that you work per year, 2,080, and now we get a desired hourly rate of $193 an hour. So what we're going to do is take that $193 an hour and go through all the tasks that you're doing currently on a day-to-day basis. And you're going to run it through the funnel of, does this task make me a minimum of $193 an hour? Is the return that I'm making on this at least going to generate $193 an hour? Because this for me was life-changing. Now, again, there's lots of different ways that you can look at this. There's lots of different ways that you can run the numbers through. This is just what's worked for me. And this is what's worked for a lot of people that I've coached. So again, you can try different strategies or different things. If this speaks to you, awesome. If it doesn't, that's okay too, okay? So now I run through all of my things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis and saying, okay, in my email, am I gonna make $193 every time that I'm in my email? Because for me now, I'm like, no, I actually should be doing outreaches. I actually should be working on a marketing plan. I actually should be creating content, whatever that is for your business or for my business. If the answer was no, then I decided to delegate it, because I recognize that checking email twice a day for 1 hour is actually costing me money. So when I take my time and I check my emails, and let's say I do an hour in the morning, an hour at night, it's costing me $386 an hour. Is that worth it? That is up for you to decide. Maybe you sell things by email. Maybe that's an email marketing campaign. But if you're just checking emails to see what's going on, maybe that's not making you the money that you want. Because if we continue to focus on hourly work that's between $10 and $25 an hour, we are never going to build a business to $400,000. Because what happens is, just like in my example, my email, is we're going to get bogged down by so many other things in life that is going to take up our time, our energy, and our resources. So we actually sit down to do the things that we know will actually move our business forward, which if you've been listening to me for a while, there are two things that will move your business forward: seeing clients or marketing yourself to see clients. Anything outside of that really takes away from building the business side of things. By the way, that doesn't mean spending time with family. That is super, super, super important. I'm literally just talking about this from a business perspective, okay? You will not build a business to $400,000 if you continue to focus on tasks that are between $10 and $25 an hour, like making lunches, prepping cases, putting people into your CRM system, whatever that looks like. We're never going to grow a business if those things are what you focus on. This is why we talk about hiring support or staff or an assistant to help take some of these things off your plate. So it gives you the freedom and flexibility to have time, energy, and space to be able to create, think, sleep, spend time with your family, or again, see clients or market yourself to see clients. And some of that takes a lot of brain power, at least in my experience, okay? Second way that you can look at this is you can calculate what your current hourly rate is, okay? So let's say that you are currently making, let's say $200,000 a year, okay? Again, use any number for this. You're going to divide that by 2,080 hours, and you're going to get an hourly rate of $96, $97 an hour. And what I want you to review right now, if that's the way that you want to do it, is what are things that I'm doing right now that are less than $96 an hour? What is my ROI on each of the tasks that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis? And what I find gets really difficult about this is you can argue that anything that you do could make you money. Like one of the things that kind of flew through my brain when I was talking about emails is someone could come back and say, well, if I check an email and there's a client in there that wants to do something, hire me, work with me, says yes to something, I just made money. So there's an argue for everything. So I want you to be very honest with yourself. Yes, maybe when you check your email, you do get some yeses in there and things happen, but maybe that's once every 3 days. Maybe that's not every single time you're in your inbox. I want you to be very honest with yourself and start paying attention to the things that you focus on a day-to-day basis. Now, this might seem a little bit like, oh man, I'm adding extra work to my plate, but I promise you, once you go through the lens of what you believe your hourly rate is, it is going to be life-changing of the things that you decide to do for yourself or the things that you decide to delegate. Again, we hear delegation, we hear hiring teams. You could listen to me, you can listen to any entrepreneur or business owner that you look up to. They have teams of people behind them. If you're freshly starting off in your business, maybe the first thing that you're going to start to delegate is your at-home tasks. You can hire a virtual assistant on Upwork to do that, right? You can find things and find people in all price ranges, in all budgets, in everything. We need to put that aside for now. What you need to figure out is where you are now, where do you see yourself going, and what are the tasks right now that are really standing in the way of that, okay? Because we really need to continue to focus on the most important tasks of your day. Like I said, I had to learn this the hard way because I've been on both sides of this. And the second that I made an intentional decision to monitor what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, my efficiency increased substantially. You want to work 4 hours a day, 2 days a week kind of thing. That for me was my goal, right? But you might just want to say, I want to work Monday through Thursday and take some Fridays off, right? We need to make sure that the meetings and the tasks and the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, are they going to get you to where you need to go? And the best book that I read on this was The 4 Hour Work Week. And what he talks about in that book, which I talk about in my courses a lot, is if you were diagnosed with something, or your child or someone that you care about was diagnosed with something crazy, and they said you only can work 3, maximum 4 hours every single day, that is it, what would you focus on? What would you do? What would you change? And a lot of times, maybe at first you're like, I don't know. Give yourself a beat to think about it. Give yourself a minute, because sometimes that's kind of your brain's protection mechanism. We need to allow ourselves to be like, oh, interesting. Just think about it for a second. Think about what comes up when it comes to, if you could only have 4 hours every single day, where would you put your efficiency? Where would you put your time, your energy, and your focus? Because this is where I see a lot of people burning out when it comes to their businesses. And we want you to have a very long, productive, abundant, we want you to help people in your community, create ripple effects. We need you to be at a 10 out of 10 on your battery scale, your energy scale. And if you are doing tasks that don't actually generate you income, revenue, if we don't increase your efficiency, you might not be in business for the long term. And I've seen that so many times in my business about people having to switch or change or just get so burnt out trying to do everything. So start doing this. Start calculate your hourly rate. Do a little bit of a deep dive on your day-to-day activities just to kind of pay attention to what's going on. Let me know what you think down below. I would love to hear your thoughts, opinions, comments, and whatnot. And be here for the next video. Subscribe, like this video if this is helpful for you. And I'm so excited to see you in the next video. Bye.